Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my kitchen. So today we are in my beautiful kitchen because tomorrow it is my beautiful big sister's birthday, so I have decided to make her a rainbow cake. The recipe that I'm going to be using is from Tanya Bear's Tanya Bakes book, and it is this rainbow cake. It's going to take quite a while. I've made it before and it took me so long. I've had 3 attempts at it, 2 in which went wrong, 1 in which went amazing. Just some word of advice, you will need food pastes, not food colouring. If you use food colouring, it fades in the oven and goes brown. Like you'll just have 7 brown cakes to put on each other. So make sure you use gel food colouring and not liquid. And because my sister is lactose intolerant, we've had to buy her some dairy-free butter and some dairy-free milk. You don't actually need dairy, you don't need milk in this recipe, but just in case I need to like water down the buttercream a little bit, I bought little pouches of lactose-free milk for her. So let me start off by telling you what you need. You will need self-raising flour, baking powder, caster sugar, icing sugar, 12 eggs, 7 different coloured food colourings, butter, and you will also need some scale. Also, you will need 7 baking trays. They will have to be the same size because you're going to be measuring out each layer of the cake to go in each of these. What I have done is I have got baking paper, I've traced the bottom of it, I have stuck it on with butter, just the bottom, not the sides, because when you can do it then you can just peel off the bottom of the baking sheet. Make sure you butter the sides of the tins as well as the bottom because you don't want your cakes to get stuck to the trays. Yes, this is going to take ages. You have to have so much patience with this. You'll also need sprinkles for the top of the cake. I will put the recipe in the description box below so you can follow along as well. So let's get started. I forgot to mention that you will also need this thing. This is a cake leveler. I got it off Amazon. You can get it from pretty much everywhere. You will also need something called a Lazy Susan. This is for when you are icing your cake, that you can just move it around easily and not have to like ruin the cake. This also is a offset spatula. This will be amazing for when you are icing the cake as well. Of course you'll need one of these. Whiskey. So for this you will need a massive bowl. It's going to be a lot of mixture because you're going to be splitting it into 7 different pans. So you're going to need a big old boy. Right, let's start. So to start off, we need to preheat the oven to 180 degrees. What we need to do in a large bowl, cream together the butter and sugar until light and fluffy. Why can I not speak? 675 grams of butter. Make sure it is at room temperature. If it's not, otherwise it's just going to be so hard to use. And you'll also need 675 grams of caster sugar as well. That sounds like a boxing match. There, that's about it. Perfect. Scrape that into this big old bowl. 675 grams of caster sugar. Oh my god, this is a lot of sugar. Yeah, about that. In it goes. We have to cream together the butter and the sugar until it's light and fluffy. It would be better if you had a KitchenAid or something similar to a KitchenAid, but man's got no money for that, so just gonna have to deal with a Wilkinson's own brand hand whisk. Next we are going to be putting 12 eggs into this mixture. 12 eggs is a lot of eggs. So what I suggest you do is you crack them up, stir them, whisk them in here, and then pour it in a little bit at a time so you don't get like an over eggy mixture. Now I'm just going to give that a whisk. Now that the egg mixture is all mixed together in here, we're going to come over here to the whiskey station. Pour in a little bit at a time. Don't want that gross eggy texture. Now that that is all whisked together, you need to add in 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract and give that a little whisk. Next, we have to add the flour and the baking soda. Baking powder, not American. Now we need 675 grams of self-raising flour. 675 into the mixture a little bit at a time. I'd say about a third. Oh my god, there's flour going everywhere. And now we need to add the baking powder, in which you need 3 teaspoons. As you can see, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bowls, corresponding with 7 baking trays. So what we are going to do now is divide this mixture equally between these 7 bowls. Just try your best. It doesn't really matter, but what I'm going to do is I have this black spoon. I'm going to count how many black spoons there are to each bowl. So I'm going to start off 1 black spoon each bowl, and then another spoonful, and then another until I run out of mixture. And then afterwards we are going to be adding all of this food gel to each of the bowls to make a beautiful rainbow coloured bowls. It's like a lounge. This isn't good. Perfect. So now you need to do the dreaded job of squeezing all of these tubes out into each of the bowls. And you may think, this doesn't look good, but just keep going. So I have just finished mixing all of the colours in with the mixture. I actually didn't have to use all of this paste, which last time I did have to. I must have got like a really crappy brand, but these were from Morrison's. I think they were 2 for £2, so quite expensive. So that's maybe why they're a little bit better. So we have orange, pink, yellow, purple, green, red, and blue. They may seem like not bright as you want them to be, but that's okay because when they cook in the oven they do come out a little bit brighter. I'm going to now transfer these into these. Also, I forgot to mention earlier on, but if you didn't have 7 of these, you could make it in batches. Now we have a beautiful rainbow of cake mixtures that I'm going now to put in the oven. Now these need to go in the oven for 18 to 20 minutes. Rearrange the oven shelves, put that one in the bottom. Bye-bye. Now my timer has just gone off and that was 18 minutes, but it's probably been about 19, 20 now. What I'm going to do, because I don't have a cocktail stick, is stick the end of a spoon in and see if it comes out clear. If not, leave it for a minute longer. Don't leave it like 5-10 minutes, just a minute longer and it should be ready. These are ready. These are perfect. Right, so now is the important bit, is to let everything cool down. I'm going to let them cool in the baking trays for about 5 minutes, then afterwards I'm going to transfer them onto these guys so they can properly cool down. Whilst they're properly cooling down, you want to leave them until they're actually like stone cold, because working with hot cake is not going to work at all. So leave these to cool, put them on here, and then we'll do the icing. Beautiful. Come out so well. This is amazing. They're going to be very sweaty at the moment, which is fine. Just leave them to cool. Right, so now we are going to be making the icing for the middle, like the layers of the cake, and the outside. So we're going to be making a bucket load, and it entails using 1 kilogram of icing sugar. What I'm going to tell you now is that you're going to make a mess. And when I mean a mess, you will have layers of icing sugar on your work surfaces for like 3 months. So we've got to cream the butter in a bowl until it's basically white, and we want it as white as possible. And as you know, butter is yellow. So if you mix butter for long enough, it goes white. So we need to be mixing 600 grams of unsalted butter. I've got the dairy-free butter. We're going to be whisking it for as long as you can, probably about 10 minutes. Perfect, 100 grams of butter. Now let's whisk it for like 10 minutes until your arm feels like it's about to fall off. As you now may be able to tell, the colour of the mixture, the butter, is a little bit lighter in colour. If you have a KitchenAid or something similar to that, then this aids you so well because you could just leave it and walk away for like 20 minutes and it'd be amazing. This is almost like a wet consistency and that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. Now what we have to do is add in the 1 kilogram of icing sugar. So I have been mixing and mixing and mixing for the past 20 minutes, half an hour. Still not as white as I would like it to be, but I think it's still going to look amazing. If you have white food colouring, maybe that will work, but for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. I would suggest, highly suggest, using a tea towel. Cover your bowl with tea towel and put it in, and then there's no mess. The cakes are still warm and I cannot work with warm cakes. So I'm just going to leave this, have a little sit down, have something to eat, and I'll be back with you. I am back and I have left these to cool for about 15-20 minutes and I've left the back door open so they are completely stone cold now, so they are great for me to start working on them. What we're going to do is we're going to be using our cake leveler and we are going to be sawing off the top of the cake to reveal the inside of the cake, cutting off the caramelization. If you want to sprinkle the excess on top, then make sure you just keep it in a bowl or just throw it in the bin. This bit can get a bit difficult, just try your best. Let's take the lid off. Oh my gosh! Wowee! And now I'm just going to do it with the rest of them. So I have just put all of my lids, I suppose, into this little bowl of mine and I've crunched them all together, mushed them all up, and I'm eating them. We are going to go on to our Lazy Susan and use our offset spatula to ice and build this cake. Now this is the most difficult part and it takes the most time and most patience, but we can do it. I would recommend getting a bowl like this just so you can scrape off excess crumbs and frosting onto this bowl easier than putting it out on a towel or something. So I'm just going to go by what is in the book, which is purple first. What I'm going to do is take a little bit of icing, like a walnut size, put it on there just so that the bottom layer can stick to the cake stand just whilst we are decorating. And this is why we need this bowl, just so we can do that purple. Now we need to put more than you think icing, big dollop on, because you can always take icing off and you want a nice layer between the rainbow anyway. So it doesn't have to be perfect. The beauty of this is it doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, I have made it to the top. It's very, very scary. The next thing we are going to be doing is this thing called crumb coating. Crumb coating is where you do a very thin layer of icing that the crumbs stick to. Refrigerate it for an hour or so. Obviously, I am not a professional in any way, shape or form, but it's just about squeezing all of these crumbs. Right, so I'm pretty happy with this, the way it looks, in the fridge and see how it goes. As you can now see, it's a little bit later. I have left this in the fridge for like an hour, 2 hours. So I'm just going to do the last layer of icing. I'm not sure whether to put these sprinkles on or not because I don't know whether it will ruin it or not, but I'm just going to try. Oh yeah, I like it. There we go. And this is the final product. I am very proud of it. I have spent all day today making this cake. I will insert a picture now to tell you what it looks like on the inside. Hopefully it looks cool. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It took me all day to do. I've been filming since 2:30 and it is now 7:30. So yeah, it's taken me 5 hours to make and film. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did and subscribe down below. Leave a comment and I'll leave the recipe for the cake in the description box below. And I'll see you next week with a new video. Bye!
I was heading for a small disaster. Before you came round, I was ready to blow.